Hello, everyone. How are you today? Thank you for joining me on this Friday lunchtime UK time for our weekly Facebook Live webinar, where we have a different theme every week. This week's theme is teaching in China. This is something I know about because I've taught in China myself. So just first of all, if you're out there listening to me, please say hello in the chat. Tell me where you are. Tell me if you're interested in going to China. If you're not interested in going to China, then this webinar can also be for you because I can answer any questions you have about the world of EFL, English as a foreign language, and teaching English as a foreign language. My name is Carl, and I have been teaching around the world in various locations for a good few years. Let's go with that. I've taught in China, Japan, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Kazakhstan, Iraq. I was in Iraq for a bit, Azerbaijan. I've also taught a lot in the UK, and I currently am in the UK, and I work as a teacher trainer, as a work as a teacher trainer. I work as an examiner, and I also work as an online teacher. So if you've got any questions about teaching online as well, please say hello, please say in the chat, and I will try and answer them. Okay, so I can see some people starting to say hello. I'll catch up with those hellos in a minute. Thank you. So let's talk about China. Why are we talking about China? Because right at the moment, the world is still in a mad place, mad situation. But China, from the way I've been looking at it, has started to advertise some jobs for people to fly over there and go over and teach. So if you are in the UK and you're without work or anything like that, it could be, and you are interested in teaching English as a foreign language, China could be a way forward. The cases are quite low if you know, from reading the media. And I've seen pictures of people nightclubbing and things like that in China. So it might actually be a good place to fly out to at the moment. Okay, so I don't really want to talk too much about COVID and that kind of thing. Let me just say a few hellos. Hi, Jenna. Looking to go to China in a couple of years. Good. Hi, Elliot. Thinking about going to China after your degree. Sarah. Good. Teaching Chinese students. Sarah, please, any comments you have about teaching Chinese students, which is part of the talk I'm going to get to, then please do that. Ryan, hello, taking the course right now. Joseph from somewhere in Russia. Wow, I don't know whereabouts you are in Russia, but thanks for joining us all today. So any questions at all, whack them in the chat, and myself or Alan will try and get into them for you. Right. Okay. So first things to know about teaching in China is it's one of the countries where it is more difficult to get to teach if you haven't got a degree. So on the whole, if you want to go to China, it's a good idea to have your degree, your 3-year degree, plus a TEFL certificate. But there are ways of getting to China without a degree and doing things like an internship. And I'll get to that in a minute, but I think I'm going to try and concentrate now on, first of all, onto the degree course. Okay, so you've got yourself a degree. You need to obviously get yourself some sort of TEFL certification. So you're looking for like 120-hour TEFL certificate, something like we offer here at TEFL.org. You can do that online. Great, you can do that from your home. Once you've got that, perfect. You just go with that. Okay, find yourself a job. So there are types of different jobs out there in China. I'm just looking at my notes here so I don't forget any. Basically, they sort of range into a few different areas. You've got public schools, which are owned by the government, you know, like a normal school that you go to, and you go there and you work. You might teach the children there of various different ages. That's one type of school you can get to, generally teaching kids. There's language institutes. So these are privately owned language schools, and you go and work for one of them. and you would be teaching a range of students. You might be teaching kids, you might be teaching adults, you might also be teaching some business English classes, exam preparations, IELTS, Trinity, Cambridge, whatever it might be. You might be doing some of that as well for language institutes. Another way of recruiters out there might send you to is universities. So you would go there and you might teach a range of different courses. You could teach quite high level academic English courses, or you could teach quite low level speaking classes to, I don't know, students who are studying sport or students who are studying chemistry, something like that. Not something where they haven't got languages in their subject major. So that is something you can go and do. Then the last one, which tends to be the best paid, but also tends to be the most competitive to get a job in, is an international school. So what is an international school in China? They are basically, you'll be teaching, probably majority would be foreign people from outside China who live in the China doing jobs outside of education, and they send their kids to these international schools, or Chinese families who want their kids to have an international education, whatever an international education is, following, I don't know, a British curriculum or an American or an Australian or French or a German, whatever it might be. And you go in there and teach. Okay. So they are, I think I went through 4. And then the one extra one you could do once you're out there is you could get yourself some private tutor jobs. And there's a range of pay, and I'm going to get to pay in a minute. Okay, but first of all, I can see that there are some questions coming in, so I don't want to leave you all hanging listening to me talk about China if you've got something else that you want to ask. So thank you very much. Okay, Sitahul Shoba, I'm very sorry if I mispronounce your name there. How do I get started to teach English online? Okay, right. So the first thing you will need, I recommend, is to get some sort of teaching certification that recruiters are looking for. So at the moment, we have lots of recruiters trying to recruit people to teach online. They are looking for, basically the minimum they usually look for is 120-hour TEFL certificate, something like we provide, and it also has some sort of accreditation that makes it a renowned certificate. So you've got to get yourself that first, Sitahul. Then once you've passed that, you look for jobs. And you've got 2 different ways of starting to teach online. Basically, you can go down the route of recruiters and you apply to them. They set you up with schools abroad, or they set you up with students that they've recruited themselves. You use their platform to teach online, their web browser platform, whatever it is, or Skype or Zoom or whatever it is they decide to get you to do. And then they fund you the students, they pay for you, they take the money from the students, they give you the money. You work when they want you to work. You teach who they want you to teach. The other way of doing it is to set yourself up as an independent English online teacher. And that way you would set up your own website. You would try and find your own students. You would advertise. You would get yourself down the good marketing, all that kind of thing. And then you would try and find your own students. And you can teach a bit more flexibly then, hours that you want to teach, the type of students you want to teach. But can be quite hard to get students quite quickly coming in that way. Okay, so but I think ultimately you might end up earning more if you set yourself up online. So there's the 2 different ways of teaching online. I hope that helps you. Sitahul, if you are looking for online teaching, go back and look at some of the Facebook videos that we have on this page, loads talking about online teaching from a few weeks back. Okay, good. Hannah, hello. Sarah, this is interesting. Alan, if we could just highlight that one. The Chinese students are generally a joy to teach and very diligent and respectful. Yes, this is something that I would agree with. Right. Chinese students, when you go out there, and if you're going to apply for jobs, one of the questions you might get asked is, how do you get Chinese students speaking? Because Chinese students are respectful. They are, you know, they on the whole do their homework really well. You know, they work quite hard, that kind of thing, but they can be a bit shy. And once you can get that barrier down through playing games, through being a nice, happy teacher, all that kind of thing, then they are a joy to teach, and you will really get to help them a lot, and you really get to fulfill them. So I would agree with that, Sarah. Chinese students sometimes have a reputation of being a bit boring and that kind of thing. I don't agree. Okay, good. Monique, hello. Looking at teaching online from South Africa, please give us info on that. So Monique, I can't give you any specific information on teaching from South Africa because, you know, you're in a similar time zone to the UK, to Western Europe. So basically that will help you to apply for jobs that you can see where they're looking for people in this time zone. Time zone can be a bit of an issue, obviously, because if you're going to teach mornings in Asia, that means you have to be up quite early in our time zone. Okay, so same thing works in South Africa. Look for jobs that will recruit native speakers, and then see if you can get work through that. Look at the TEFL org jobs that we have. Do some research on eslcafe.com, Guardian Jobs, whatever it might be. You know, there's lots of TEFL job websites out there. They're listed in a blog post on our website, and just start applying, start going for it, get yourself like that one. Okay, good. You got a question there. Another question, is it from Monique about, is the 120-hour course sufficient for teaching online or only for teaching in person? No, they're for both. So what basically recruiters, if recruiters that are looking for people to go and work physically in their classrooms, fly out somewhere, that kind of thing, will look for a 120-hour teaching certification. Online recruiters will also look for a 120-hour teaching certification. So they work for both. What you might want to do is, once you've got your 120-hour basic certification, and the reason why they use both the same for online or face-to-face is because the theory doesn't change in how you learn a language. You know, the way you teach grammar, the way you teach reading, writing, speaking, whatever it might be, doesn't change. The theory doesn't change. It's just the way you deliver it in terms of the materials, and obviously physically, piece of paper, shared documents, webcams, all that kind of thing. So you might find that once you've done, if you're going down the online route, once you've done the 120-hour certification, then you might want to do an extra module about teaching online. Okay, which is something that we offer, and that will help you to set up, and that is something that will make you stand out in the crowd of people applying. Okay, hope that works. So yeah, either of them. Okay, good. David, hello, or David, is it? Did I miss your first question? Because I missed the two. Sorry, if there's a question before that, I missed it, David. So would it be helpful at all to be fluent in Spanish too? Right. Well, okay. That's a funny one about being fluent in another language, right? Some recruiters don't like you to be fluent in that language of the classes you're teaching. Why? Because the students are paying money. The students, or the students' mums and dads, are paying money to have a native speaker in front of them. They're not paying to have someone speak Spanish in front of them if they're speaking Spanish. Okay, so some recruiters don't like that. However, some other recruiters do like it, because it means if you're going to go fly abroad, it will help you to fit in a bit more in a Spanish speaking country. It can also help you to teach lower levels, so very low level students, if you can speak that language. So that's why some recruiters do like it. Okay, so is it helpful? Yes. Is it not? No. The thing that it can do, David, it gives you an opportunity to teach English online or teach Spanish online. Because if you're going to do something like a TEFL certificate, it gives you a grounding on how to ask, it gives you a grounding in how to teach languages. And you can take that theory and go teach Spanish. You can take that theory and go teach Japanese or whatever it is, if you've got that language ability. Okay, good. I hope that answers your question there, David. Bridget, hello. Sarah, hello. Monique, we answered your question. Let's keep going. Susie, hello. Tender, I thought there was a question about parents. I couldn't see that one. Where's that one gone? Yes, Monique, hello. Is there an age limit? My dad is asking. Yes. Alan, if you see me folding around for questions, please whack them up there. That'll make me happy. Right. Is there an age limit for questions? Right. So if you are going to go teach abroad, different countries have different visa regulations, and China does have a visa regulation of teaching 50. I don't think you can be over 55 on when you apply. So if your dad is over 55, he won't be able to go to China. However, there are plenty of other countries in the world where he could go work. Okay, I think Japan might be 60, might be 65. I can't remember. He'd have to Google where he'd want to go. I mean, go teach in the Maldives or something like that. I don't know what the age limit is, depending on where your dad wants to go. But yeah, different countries do have different age limits. If you've got an EU passport, there is no age limit to where you want to go and work. So that is something to bear in mind. If he does have an EU passport, you can go teach in Spain, Italy, wherever it might be. Okay. Right. To tender. I'm gonna this is a bit of a sensitive question, but I'm going to see if I can put them up. Okay. Good day to you. Due to the recent pandemic, are there any issues in terms of treatment towards coloured employees that you've noticed over there recently? Right. Okay. So I don't really want to brush this question away. Okay. This is something that unfortunately is something that people of colour might face when they go and work in Asia. So, for example, when I taught in Vietnam, we had a fantastic, amazing, she's such a good friend of mine, even still now, teacher who was super qualified, had been teaching for ages. And she was a person of color, and she unfortunately got complaints because students didn't feel like she was a native speaker, or they didn't really want someone they felt of that color. So there is unfortunately some racial stereotyping in Asia. But even before COVID, okay, and of course it's horrendously wrong, all that kind of thing, and it's something that that we as people who lived in China, I used to fight all that kind of thing. So this is something that you might find. However, there are recruiters out there and there are universities. I'd go down the university route more than the private language institutes route if you're looking to apply. Why? Because they tend to be a little bit more open. The students have less power, whereas in the local language institutes, they have a bit more power, and the owner can be a little bit scared of them because they don't want to lose their custom. Less of that with university students. So that is something that unfortunately you might face, but it's not something that I think should stop you. And I think I've worked with all different types of ethnic groups in East Asia. So I'm hoping that's something that you're going to get through. Okay. And I just keep going with it to tender. You'll get something. Okay. Good. Durant, you're going to Shenzhen. Lovely. That's good. Any thoughts on Shenzhen in particular? The process of settling in appreciated. Good question. Right. Shenzhen's huge. It's massive. It's a great city. It's quite a modern city. A lot of Chinese cities are modern, but I think it's quite a technological city from what I found now. I sort of found some similarities with parts of Japan in that kind of thing. I enjoyed it there. You can get yourself over to Hong Kong quite easily. It's got great transport links to get all around the rest of China. So I think you'll have a great time. It can be a bit hot and humid the time I was being there, right? The process of settling in. So let me just talk a bit about that. So hopefully your recruiter, Durant, is helping you with the settling in process. So hopefully they'll provide you accommodation when you first arrive there. Hopefully they'll also sort out things like your health insurance. They might even give you a bit of money up front to try and get you settled in. Hopefully they'll also be picking you up from the airport, that kind of thing, or giving you good instructions on how to get from the airport to where you are, paying your taxi, whatever it might be. Okay. So the settling in process hopefully is covered before you get to China, because they will have given you some information about what they're going to do. That will be in the adverts, that kind of thing. And on the whole, I find that Chinese recruiters, Chinese universities, that kind of thing, are very good at this sort of thing. They make sure someone's there to pick you up. They make sure you have accommodation to stay, maybe the first 2 weeks, maybe the whole of the contract. I don't know. Okay. It's overwhelming when you first arrive in China if it's your first time there. It's so different. There's a complete lack of English, really, on the whole, in terms of things like the restaurants, in terms of the shops, that kind of thing. So, don't just smile. Just keep going with it. Lots of gesticulating. I don't know. You might be fluent in Cantonese or Mandarin. I don't know, but smile, I think, is the way. And just don't get annoyed at the slowness of things, you know, in terms of your paperwork or that kind of thing. All right. Good. I hope that works out for you. Jenna, in China, is there a particular area you recommend? This is a really good question. China's huge. Absolutely huge. Right. So I love Shanghai. I think Shanghai is a great city. I love, Beijing has all the cultural areas to get to. Problem with being in the big cities is that Chinese big cities are quite expensive. Accommodation is quite expensive if they're not going to pay, if the recruiter's not going to pay your accommodation. Going out into some bars and stuff like that can be a little bit expensive in the big cities. There's also the problem with pollution in places like Beijing. Less so with the sort of the very coastal cities, but some of the inland cities I found have quite a bit of pollution. I really liked Xi'an, Xian. Great, little, it's huge actually, but you know, by Chinese standards, it's not the massive as Beijing, Shanghai. You know, great city, lots of cultural things to do, lots of things to see, has sort of a tourist vibe about it as well, which can be useful if it's your first time out there, because you'll find that it's a bit more easier to get around, that kind of thing. Again, can be a bit expensive. You've got the other nice area that I like is sort of north of Shanghai on the coast there. I think that's a pretty nice area to be in. Where do I recommend? It depends on you, really. Do you want, first of all, I'd go with the weather. You know, the north can be absolutely freezing in their winter, you know, -10, -20. The south, very tropical. Kunming is a lovely city that I went to. I really enjoyed my time there. So I would go, first of all, with weather, what you feel confident. Then sort of think, do you think the pollution is going to bother you? And then sort of think about the money situation. Okay, you might earn more living in Beijing, but you'll be spending more. Okay, I hope that was giving you a few names out there. Okay, good. Doris, hello. Do you necessarily have to attend the online course in order to obtain the TEFL? Because I'm interested in something on my own and then get enrolled for the certificate. Right. So let me talk about the online course, Doris. You do kind of at your own pace. You don't need to be there for live lessons, live sessions. So, you know, you can do it in your own, you study on your own. You don't have to sit in front of someone like me talking to you. Now, if you go and do the practical add-on to that, then yes, you would have to do it at a certain time and a set time. But the actual online course, you do at your own pace. You do whenever you want to. Lots of information on there. Okay, good. Elliot, hello. In terms of visas for China, is it best to go through a third party? Do your employers generally do the legwork for you, or is it best to yourself? Yeah, right. Your employers generally do the legwork for you. A good employer will help you out with the visa process. Now, getting a Chinese visa isn't, you know, one of the easier ones. For example, because I've lived in Africa, I have to go and get a chest X-ray, and I have to make sure that I'm TB free before I can go and get it. So there are costs involved with that kind of thing that you might need to do, Elliot. There are also costs of the visa itself. So you've got to be able to prove that you have a certain amount of cash, maybe, and that sort of thing, which is for most visas. Check with your recruiter, are they going to cover that kind of thing, or is that on you? All right, get that in writing. All right. I would not do it yourself. I would find the job, apply for the job, get the job, then ask them to help you out with the visa. Okay. If they're like, oh no, we're not going to help you out with the visa, we're not going to tell you what to do, alarm bells. Okay. Good recruiters, good, honest recruiters will help you with that one. Okay. Good. Monique, your dad's about 70. He would teach online. Yeah, of course he can. There are, he's absolutely fine to go teach online. I think that'd be fantastic. Sounds great. Bridget, hello. You found visas and travel to China very straightforward. Perfect. Good. Correct. Yes. So this is the kind of thing you need: letters of invitation from employer. Then you go to the local embassy, that kind of thing. All right. Good for you. Hope that works out. Okay. Sanaz, hello from Iran. I hope Iran's okay. Hope you're doing well in Iran. Which companies do you recommend for online teaching for non-native teachers? Right. We have a blog post which highlights in a very nice table the recruiters that would take on non-native teachers, that kind of thing. What I would say is, Sanaz, look at how they define a native speaker. Okay, so if you have a high level of IELTS, they might say that you're a native speaker, right? If you have studied in some sort of English language school, they may declare you to be a native speaker. So don't just think, okay, because I'm from Iran, I'm not a native speaker. Look at it, okay? But we've got a great blog post, and I'm sure when Alan gets a chance, he'll whack that into the chat to show how to get involved if you're a non-native speaker. The other thing you can do is set yourself up online. So now try and recruit students yourself. Then that way you don't have to worry about the companies. Good. Tatenda, are contract extensions common, or it just depends on how much the employer fancies and wants you to continue? Yeah, right. That's a very good point. So yeah, if they're happy with you and if the students are happy with you, then yes, on the whole, you get your contract extended. I've never worked anywhere around the world where there hasn't been an offer to extend my contract. The only times has been when a school has shut down, or there's been some sort of political problem where I've had to get out of the country. So yeah, if they like you and if you're happy, then there are lots of they'll extend your contract, no problem. Okay, good. Jenna, hello. Is there a particular dress code in somewhere like Xi'an? I mean, different from the UK? No, for Western people, the dress code, it tends to be formal. So I would wear a shirt. Me personally, I wouldn't wear a tie, but I would probably wear something like a suit jacket if it was not too cold, because China does get cold. You know, they'll expect you to have respectful work clothes. Okay, so you know, short skirts tend to be out, that kind of thing. Saying that, I do know people that do that, and I think it does depend on the city a bit in China. I mean, Xi'an's quite, you know, open. It sees a lot of tourists come through, that kind of thing. So they might be a bit more open to some of the places in the west of China. Okay, so some of the more unknown people. Okay, particular dress code, just be formal, basically. Catherine, hello. Do schools look kindly on couples wanting to teach English in the same place in China? Yes. So if you see, right, the problem you've got with that is if you're going down so there's basically two ways of getting jobs there. You can apply directly to the institutions, or they might use a recruitment consultant to get you. Now, if you are applying direct to the institutions, if it says in the advert jobs plural, then yeah, then they'll quite enjoy having you as a couple. Why? Because it might save them on accommodation, because they can fit you both in one flat. Okay. Secondly, couples are seen as less risky to recruit than a single bloke on his own who might go to Beijing and want to check out all the pubs and the nightclubs and that kind of thing. Not saying that couples don't, but what recruiters sometimes think is that they do it less, and they're less likely to be out till all hours going crazy. All right. So they do look kindly on couples if there are two jobs available in that institute. If you're going to go down the route of going through a recruiter, then you've got to hope that they've got two jobs in the same place. So of course it's possible. Most universities will have more than one job available, but you'll need to make that very clear somehow in your application. Okay, good luck with that, Catherine. David, hello again. You've enrolled on the 168 hours course. Does it offer any sort of advantage over the 120 hours? Yes, it does. Why? Because if I have no qualifications, if I have no experience and I've got the 120 hour, but you've got the 168 hour, who is the recruiter going to give the work to? Yeah. Also, I have seen jobs where they're looking for a level 5 qualification. So you might find that the level 5 will open up more doors to you. Okay. So yeah, go for it, definitely, and definitely show. Look online, look on our website, for example. You can see what the extra 48 hours is, and you can sort of add that into your You can add that into your application, into your CV, that kind of thing. Okay, good. Sarah, hello. Carl, did you travel to China alone or did you go with a partner? If I found a job with a Chinese company, might they help if my husband wanted to join me, or would he need to be working? Good point. Right. So, yeah, no, I went alone, first of all. Okay, this is way before I got married. So I went alone. So that's the first part of that. I know people that went with their partners? Yes, I did. However, they were both EFL teachers, the husband and the wife. So I don't know whether your husband wants to be an EFL teacher, is an EFL teacher, or whatever. So you can often get a spouse. I don't know what the technical word for it is, but say if you get yourself a job and you've got yourself a working visa, yes, they should be able to get him some other visa. He might even need to go on a tourist visa. Okay, so I'm sure they would help you. It would be better if he was working. Okay, I think that they would probably look a bit more open to that. I'm not sure how happy they would be to have a non-working partner and they sponsor that kind of thing. Why? Because they don't really know what he would be up to. Okay, so it's difficult, but not impossible at all. Okay, does that help? Good. Well, I don't know if that helped. You didn't reply. I just assumed that it helped. Good. Monique, hello. Silly question. No silly questions. Earning abroad, does one require a visa to teach online? No, one does not require a visa to teach online. Okay. To get the money in, you know, you're going to need to have certain accounts, that kind of thing, and they will help you to, your recruiter will help you to set all that kind of thing up. Okay, they'll tell you exactly what you need, whether it's PayPal or into your South African account or whatever it might be. Okay, good. Hannah, hello. What's the route if you don't want to get a degree? I'm 16 currently and don't want to go to uni. Fine. But Hannah, there's plenty of places around the world where you can teach without a degree. So 16, you know, to apply for a job when you're 16 abroad, I think you probably have to wait till you're 18. Okay, I can't see many companies wanting to take on a 16-year-old to fly them over, that kind of thing. I don't know where you are, Hannah. If you are, you might be able to find local work in the UK with a TEFL certification. Okay, that's something to do. First thing, if you don't want to go to uni, it does limit you a little bit, but not too much. I mean, last week or the week before, I can't remember, I spoke about Japan and how you can get to Japan without a degree. Europe is, if you've got an EU passport at the moment, is a good place to, and who knows what's going to happen next year, is a good place to find work, because they can be a little bit more liberal in terms of the visa regulations and in terms of being able to employ people without visas, whereas in the UK, in Asia, the visa regulations are sort of a bit more set in stone, that kind of thing. All right, so you look to Europe when you're 18. But Hannah, if you're still doing your A levels, who knows where we're going to be in 2 years' time? Okay, so I'd love to, but there's plenty of routes out there. There's a good page we've got about teaching around the world without a degree. Okay, good. Peter, hello. Do Chinese companies look favorably on gay married couples? I have never seen any sort of problems. I know that I've worked with gay people. I've never worked with a gay couple, so that is not something I don't want to make up something, but I've never seen any sort of harassment or anything like that. I mean, parts of China are very traditional, you know, very, very traditional, but parts of China are really cosmopolitan, multicultural. Beijing, Shanghai, that kind of thing, Hong Kong. So, you know, what I'm trying to say is that probably you might want to choose where you want to go work, but I've never seen any problems. I've never heard of any problems, any sort of harassment, anything like that, Peter. So I just wish you good luck, but I can't comment on gay couples going together like I did before, because I don't know of a gay couple that have gone there. Okay, so I'm sorry. You might need to do a bit more research on that, Peter. Sorry. Good. Tatenda. Do recruiters and schools tend to want younger employees, or is it all general and depends on your CV quality? I don't think they tend to want younger employees at all. I think they care about your CV and they care about your qualifications, that kind of thing. They care generally if you have to do a trial lesson online. They care about how you do that. Age doesn't really come into it too much. Okay. So we're only sort of down to a few minutes left, and I think I've caught up with all the questions, Alan, unless you can see any on there that I've missed. Amazing questions. I really enjoyed. You kept me on my toes there, guys. Thank you very much. I loved it. So what else can I talk about China? So I think you need to figure out where you want to go. Okay. China's huge. Get yourself a Lonely Planet book. Have a look at where you think it might be. Look online. There's lots of people doing blog posts about this kind of thing. All right. So, have a look, do some research, just sort of go and go to an area where you think you would be comfortable. Okay. Do you want an authentic Chinese experience? And you probably might want to go inland a bit to some of the big cities where you might be one of not that many Westerners. Okay. Do you want to play it a bit more safe? Do you want to be a bit calmer? Make sure that you can get sort of a KFC or a McDonald's or something like that. Although there's McDonald's all over China, to be fair. So you might want to go to Beijing, or, if you want to get some Western food every now and again, you might want to go to Beijing, Shanghai, that kind of thing. All right. So think about where you want to go. Okay. Lots of stuff online that. Think about the type of students you want to teach. Do you want to teach kids? If you want to teach kids, obviously go down the school routes. If you think, I don't really want to teach kids, then go to the university route. Okay. So think about the sort of the age range. Level is quite difficult to choose before you go over there. You can't really choose if you can do high level or low level, because once you get over there, you'll find that the classes can be quite mixed. They can also be quite big. I once had a 200-person class in China. Completely crazy. Couldn't teach them. But obviously within that 200 people, there's a range of levels. So, that kind of thing is. So think about that. Get things in writing before you go. Okay. So if they send you a contract in Chinese, you could get it translated yourself, but also you could, ask them, can you put this in writing so you know what it is? And then if something does go wrong at the other end, you can say, well, look, I've got this thing where you've said this is what you owe me. Okay. And on the whole, I find that Chinese people are pretty good at sticking to that kind of thing. All right. Don't pay any money up front to the recruiter. Don't sort of get them to, if they say to you, do you know what? I can get you a great job in Beijing that pays £3,000 a month if you give me 500 quid. Don't go down that route at all. That is also a bit scammy. Okay. They're going to try and maybe get a bit of money. Good recruiters won't do that. Okay. Good establishments won't do that. Okay. Yes, you might have to pay visa costs, that kind of thing. That's slightly different from having to give someone money to get the job. Okay. Just going to get a couple more questions. Darian, hello. You've heard good prospects in mechanical engineering in Norway. Speaking from Australia, true. I have no idea. Darren, do you want to go are you a mechanical engineer? I'm a TEFL teacher. I have no idea about mechanical engineering. Good luck with it. Marik, hello. Hi from Namibia, South Africa. Namibia, one of my favorite places. I spent a good few weeks backpacking around Namibia. It's a lovely, beautiful place. How long does the recruitment job confirmation process usually take? You are stoked. I'm glad you're stoked, Marik. Right. So generally, the terms start in September or January. Private institutions, they'll have rolling intakes all throughout the year, but generally it takes that. So that's something you've got to bear in mind. So if you apply now, you might get in time for January. If you were going to go after that, then, it might be for next September. All right. So probably going to take 2 or 3 months, I would say, to get your visa process sorted, to get your flights, all that kind of thing. Saying that, you might get it done in a couple of weeks and you're off. Okay. But I would sort of start to plan yourself around the term dates of starting in September or starting in January. Okay. Good. good luck with it, Marique. Is China accommodating for vegetarians? Good question. And I wish my wife was here right now because she's a vegetarian that lived in China. I think in the big cities, it is not too bad. You know, that you'll find vegetarian options. It's really important that you learn, Hannah, how to say the phrase, is there meat in this? I don't eat meat. Yes, I don't even eat chicken. Yes, I don't even eat fish. Okay, because they might think that chicken and fish in some parts is still classed as vegetarian food. So that's something you want to do. You might want to get it laminated on a piece of paper, that kind of thing. So it is accommodating if you can get that point across, but you'll find that, you know, they do sort of cook in oils and they do cook in some sauces that has meat in, unfortunately. So is it the most accommodating place in the world? No, but for example, I know of vegetarians that have got themselves around China pretty easily. Good. Would you recommend completing, Catherine, hello, a beginner's Chinese course beforehand? Now, yes, I would recommend it, but every Chinese beginner's course I've done, and I've done a few, as soon as I've got out to China and tried to speak it, they've just looked at me like I'm absolutely insane, and it didn't really help. So perhaps that's my Chinese pronunciation. The pronunciation of Chinese is so difficult, I find, okay, with the tones. Of anywhere you go in the world, if you learn a few words, it will make you stick out, and it'll make your students smile and be happy. Oh, Miss Catherine knows how to say thank you. Oh, that's fantastic. She is a great teacher. So you know, there are definitely ways it can help you. Compulsory, no, but yeah, why not? I think anything, you know, anywhere you go in the world, speak a bit of the language is always beneficial. I think that's all the questions, and I think I'm out of time. I'm just wondering if there's anything else quick I want to. Yeah, just one more thing I want to say is to be aware of the amount of holiday you're going to get in China. Some jobs give you quite a bit of holiday. Some jobs give you, like, they'll say, oh, you'll get the Chinese Lunar New Year month off. And you think, wow, that's fantastic. You know, that's great. But really expensive to get around China in that time. Okay, so it's not sort of, so you might think, great, I've got a month off in February, March, whenever it is, but then it's really difficult to find trains, to find planes, to find places to stay at, hotel, that kind of thing. So just be careful of how much holiday you're going to get. Don't expect that you're going to get loads off to go travel all around. Okay, that's just one more thing I want to make you aware of. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Jenna, you've put some Chinese in there. I have no idea what that could mean. That could mean, Carl, you're talking out of your left ear. I'm going to take it as, Carl, you are amazing. That was a fantastic webinar. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for coming and spending 45 minutes with me speaking about China. We'll have another one soon. It'll be me, it will be someone else. If you've got any ideas about things you want us to talk about, please let us know. Please send us a message. We are here to help you. If you're on the fence about going abroad, do it. What's the worst that can happen? China is quite safe virus-wise at the moment. You know, you might have to go into quarantine. Well, you will have to go into quarantine when you're over there, but once you've done that, you're out and about. Okay. Good, everyone. Thank you very much. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.